first put the road in? I don't know.
It had to be rolling a loop.
Yeah, it just looks like because of the gravel and everything, there's not much vegetation. It might just be winter. Could be winter.
Probably when they built the darn fool.
Yeah, it could be when they built it. Yep, look how beautiful. It's magnificent. These are cool.
Well, I don't know, they're not any good to me just laying in a pile. My wife is on a binge and I can't, I don't want to turn her off.
She's
cleaning.
cleaning. Oh, yeah, Mr. Eggy does it every
She didn't find these. I knew where these were. She didn't know where they were, but I knew where they were, but I've been trying to remember to bring them for quite a few months. And
Post office. I was like trying to, the old post office. Now I got it. This is awesome.
oh, we're even here now in the view. Ooh.
So these are aerials. It must be from an airplane.
Pardon?
They wouldn't have had drones back
No,
then.
no.
Have you airplane? There's aerial view.
Yeah. This would be about 1930.
These are like a treasure. I love this. Steamboats. Cars. Oh my goodness.
Finally remember your names. I wasn't sure, but I think I made it took me 4 years.
This is fairly current. Didn't they just move it there? Or did they move it back there? The vote fountain in the Rose Garden, that's fairly recent. Didn't they just move that there? Or was it moved back?
No,
moved a
this
couple times?
is recent. You're looking at these closer. A guy handed them to me and then we sat down and started talking, but we didn't talk about these.
Yeah, because that one's more current, but it looks olden days. It looks like it's a colorized or something. It's cool. There's the dam. That's so pretty.
Well, here come people. Here come people that got
Here
answers.
comes trouble right here. Hi, Eric.
Hi, oh,
These are cool. Here,
postcards.
have a look. We've gone through this. They're Bob's.
Yeah,
Sit.
well, they are, I guess, but they will, or we
That's for us.
will them over some. How are you?
Good, and you?
Not,
Hi, is this my name?
not really answerable, but there's another good member. Hi there.
You're supposed to be here, Forrest.
Hello.
These are two
Forrest, we have
places
to
that went.
coax you back here. Come home. We miss you. Rogue River. Oh,
All right, we're getting close. No, we got 2 minutes yet. You need a,
hey, no cussing.
I probably do need reading glasses.
What are those?
They're old postcards.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I
No.
did that purposely so that I thought I would blanken her out, but I didn't get her out. I guess she can still know I'm here. I believe we do have a quorum though. So that's the big item.
What are these barges along there? Oh,
And that's the port docks, I think, isn't it?
Well, it's next to the Portage Railroad or something.
We need magnifying glasses.
Yeah,
Like it's being
Like a
nearsighted.
little pullout.
Oh, neat.
they can all be put under a scope. I imagine there'd be an electronic way of
Oh,
doing
yeah,
it.
that's the port dock.
Okay,
And this is kind of a breakwater for the marina.
okay, but there's a road that goes like that, it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the railroad.
Yeah, the Portage.
Yeah, there was a spur that served the port docks.
I worked there for a number of years.
Oh, the post office.
See if I got the right one here. Oh,
So-
good, I got the right one. I can close the door on the other one
Oh, cool.
and scribble on the back of something. When the scribble time comes.
Yep. Okay.
Got a minute left. Yeah,
It was Carl. Carl grabbed him out of your
Can you
hand.
remember?
I don't know.
Well, I heard it. I heard that, but I don't know. Then again, what do I know? Carl Bakuderin joined our ranks. That's what I heard.
He's doing what?
Carl,
Can I
oh,
join the commission, maybe?
you'd be a treasurer.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope he's out of the hospital.
Did you say that?
No,
I hope he would be a treasurer, 'cause I've got so many questions now. I'm getting too old. I don't know how to,
oh, that's what it was.
We're all ready to start when it hits 4 o'clock. Paul.
Julie, will you help with the pledge today?
Do that?
Thank you.
How do I do that? Just say it.
Just
start
kind of say the first word and hope they follow you.
Okay, I can do that.
One and two.
Oh, boy, it took us a couple of months to get you organized. But you are very punctual now. You're better than I am. I missed last time and you was here, so you're all right. I'm proud of you. I'm gonna say that it's 4 o'clock. My watch says 4 o'clock and I'm gonna say that close enough. So I'm gonna call the Historic Landmark Commission together and say we're in order for the Dells, Historic Landmark Commission for the Dells, Oregon. All right. First order is to call roll, and would you please do that, Paula?
Bev Aggie,
Here.
Forrest Ercole,
Here.
Eric Gleason,
Here,
Bob McNary,
Here,
Julie Reynolds,
There.
Scott Randall.
here.
fine. I don't understand the procedural. Julie, is this point is a representative from the museum,
Right,
and
she's not
Scott is a representative from city council.
correct.
I don't know if they should be duly noted, but they are not member of count of our quorum. Is that right?
That, correct.
That's all I want to make sure that's clearly understood. All right, Julia, would you lead us in the pledge? And I'll try to get up the rest of you. I know I'll be able to make it.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Hey, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You kind of got a swinging gait here under that chair, and I know it didn't hurt the thing. We aren't gonna get up again, I don't think.
Pounds of stuff in that purse that I swung around.
I
Sorry.
thought the gate was closing on me and I didn't think I'd got here yet, so. All right, the next item of business is the approval of our agenda for this February 28th meeting. Has anyone got any questions or comment to make on the agenda? Otherwise, I would appreciate a motion to approve or disapprove or correct or otherwise.
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
I second it.
Very good. Forrest, you didn't even get a chance that time. All in favor, say aye and raise your hand so that
I,
aye. All right, that's done.
Aye.
Now we'll go to the approval of the minutes for December 20th. That was the last time you met, Bev. You don't get out very often.
I don't.
I was thinking you was just a week ago we was here. That's quite some time ago. I'm gonna have to call for, I can call for approvals and all that sort of stuff, but I did not attend. The minutes sounded very interesting. So I can only ask if there is approval of the members that were here. Is there any question on the minutes? Boy, must have been a quiet meeting.
I'll move that we approve the minutes from the December 20th, 2023 meeting.
I'll second it.
There is no one objecting to this. I'd say all in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Otherwise? Okay, we've got down to the public approval of the minutes. Now we're gonna ask for anyone in the public audience that would like to make a comment on anything that pertains to Historic Landmark Commission. But if there's something that precedes you, we will have to hold off on your comments that you have if they're on the agenda below you. So anyone got something they'd like to say? Yes, please come up to the mic, identify yourself, and we'll give you our ear.
You gonna give me what?
Your ear, our ear. Which one do you want?
Which one?
Yeah.
Well, we need to have this on. Hello? Okay.
No.
Is it good right here? Okay. My name's Rick. I'm from the Dalles, Oregon. Yeah, class of 72. I would like to talk about historic mapping, park and street railing, brewery grade switchback, steam engine water tower, shipyard, and dock tunnels. But I'm not going to. I'm here to talk about it's a municipal code, I guess. It's number 11.12.030. I love you guys, and I care about you. I don't understand. Okay. You love cared for it. I just don't understand. So I'm learning. I've been a builder forever, since I was that tall. And I love this town. Love the building that the people did when they came over. And there's a lot of it that's we should be addressed. And this big number says this commission shall consist of 6 members, 1 non-voting, and 5 of which are from the citizens at large. And I think we could work it out. But it seems that you all are representing the Pioneer Cemetery, St. Peter's Landmark, Fort Dalles Museum, the Dalles Arts Center, Civic Auditorium, and Waldron's Drugs. And not people at large, parts of organizations. And with that understanding, I think I might be correct because I showed this to a couple people. And I would like if you all could choose people from the general public, as this states here, if you see to it, if I need to understand, I would like to understand. I don't know how to get involved. I drive around and I see things that need fixed. I know that the railing there on the park is beautiful. And it's the same railing on the intersection where the dog veterinary or the animal veterinary clinic is. It's the same railing that's been busted off. for over 40 years, and it's painful. And it needs to be fixed. It's I own the Tony's building, handmade brick, all of it. It's in a big pile over there. It's about 36,000 handmade brick. The handmade brick, I think they stopped making them by hand at about 1898. I'm not an archaeologist. I did dig arrowheads with Dad out there at Lone Pine. I'd like your help in understanding. Damn it. I need to understand. I seem to be the only one that shows up. I'm not afraid of you. I don't know why other people are, but they don't seem to show up. And you do always. And I appreciate the heart that you put into it. All of us don't enough. And I see a lot of opportunity. That's basically what I had to say. I don't know why I have 5 pages. I'm done. Thank you. Just for your consideration, that code. I guess it's a code. I don't know about this stuff. So thank you.
I, for one, thank you for coming forward. And we would like to have more people of your character come forward, talk to us, tell us about little secrets that we don't know. And so pass the word that we're not carnivorous. We haven't thrown anybody out of this building yet. And I don't intend to in my time at the helm. So please pass the word around. If they got a little story to tell us, this is the spot to come in and tell us. If they got something that they think that we should be aware of, pass the word, tell them to come see us. And I thank you very kindly.
You know, I did get a hold of an archaeologist for the Forest Service. Actually, he got a hold of me. And he came to the brewery grade, and he said that this switchback is the same that he sees in the forest, but it isn't his job to be saying anything about city work. So in my study of that location, the rock houses were very likely a blacksmith shop and a wheelwright and a toll booth and a fort in Grand Central Station for that end of town. And it really deserves to be looked at, especially if you live near it. I was told that there's a waterfall behind the blackberries. But if you get the opportunity to walk over to the rock buildings, you'll see there's 2 buildings. I took a 3rd generation high school friend from here, rock mason, brick mason, to that location. And he had some choice words about the rock being put up so quickly. And the reason only that I could figure is because of a war with the Indians. That is the only break in the basalt bluff from Washington Street to Big Jim's. Now, if you're going to come downtown for a reason, might be to Taiwan on, you're not going to want to go all the way down to Big Jim's and come back up around, get up the hill. If you're with the Sam Barlow Trail, you're going to go up from Washington Street and pass right by that location and load up. It's an excellent opportunity to bring some mapping to this town. You know, I noticed that the Sam Barlow Trail is missing at the beginning. And it makes total sense that since the cattle and the mill and the train and the fish and everything was right there at that location. River. Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no one else, we're gonna move on. And it seems like the next item on our agenda is a presentation. I know it isn't me that's going to make it, so we'll find out who's gonna take over from here. Will you tell us what we're gonna see and where?
Yes, so my name's Caitlin. I'm the senior planner with the City of the Dalles, and I'm here to introduce Ann Moorhead. She will be presenting on the Getchell Building light projection project she's been working on. She's she's prepared a presentation for you all, and I'm just going to take a minute here to share our screen so you all can see and all you. All right, and I'll leave it to Ann. Thank you.
Hello, I am Ann Moorhead. I'm the Special Projects Coordinator here at the City of the Dalles. I've been working on our Getchell Building Light Projection Project, which I presented on once before more informally. We are now presenting on this because we just got agency funding from the Columbia Gateway Urban Renewal Agency, which means we're now moving forward as far as actually installing it, which is really exciting. So as you all know, the Getchell Building, also known as the Waldron Drug Building, is the oldest commercial building in the Dalles. It was constructed sometime around 1863, originally as the Waldron Drug Building, and was, as its name suggests, a drugstore, pharmacy, and also contained a post office. Since then, it has been the home to a lot of different businesses. It survived the Great Fire of 1891 and the flood of 1894, and was eventually renovated into the Getchell Apartments in the 1920s and 30s, which is how it got its second name. Since then, however, and to now, this building has been left more unused by the urban fabric. And so we're hoping to revitalize it by installing I got it. Sorry about that. We're planning on installing a project that would try and revitalize and highlight these ghost signs seen on the current west face of the Getchell building. Also called the old faded advertising signs, essentially. And so this project, supported by Restore Oregon, which is a nonprofit that focuses on historic preservation and has considered this building a critically endangered landmark, will hopefully allow it to kind of regain interest from both tourists passing by on the I-84 as well as the local community, and really bring this building back into focus. So the installation itself would involve a 4-meter tall pole with 6 projectors being put into the landscaping south of the road within Lewis and Clark Festival Park. The projectors would then cycle through at night the 3 different layers of signs on that building: the owl cigar sign, the red storage sign, and the black insurance and storage sign on top, and would connect to the existing electrical line running through the landscaping there. So all this would then create a dynamic presentation at night, which would really kind of bring back the history of this building. In addition to the projectors themselves, we plan on putting in an informational sign within the park connected to pedestrian spaces. It will be a bronze plaque created by the same artist doing the projectors. Previous discussion with this commission brought up putting on a sign on First Street next to the railroad tracks. However, due to the lack of pedestrian space, such as sidewalks, that has been halted due to safety concerns, since encouraging pedestrians into the roadway seems like a concern. So, more details about the projectors. This is a project done by the artist Craig Winslow of Winslow Studios multiple times, and you can see here another example of a ghost signs with 3 layers. So the projector itself is a system that uses a custom template. So basically there's a plate inside of it that is transparent and would have the properly mapped out restored image of the sign. It would then be backlit by a white light, so the projector can only show that one image, which would be mapped properly to the building. And then it would be inside a protective case, which would also have a certain amount of atmospheric control, which would then protect the hardware from more severe weather and heat and such. And so all that sets it up to be a pretty sturdy piece of equipment, expected to last about 10 years. And how it would be designed is essentially 2 projectors would be in charge of each layer, creating that whole building-wide restored projection of each sign and layer. So ultimately, the installation would bring the signs back to life in the dark, transforming it from what it is to what a brilliant display of what it had been, similar to what you can see there with the Coca-Cola sign. So, brief rundown of the funding. This project is budgeted at costing a total of $24,400. It was the Urban Renewal Agency, as I said, agreed to fully fund the project. $20,000 about of it will go to the artist for labor, production, as well as the cost of the projectors themselves and related equipment and shipping there. The last approximately $4,000 will go to creating a concrete pad in the park for both the pole as well as the sign that we plan on putting in, along with the cost of the pole and connecting that to the park's electrical. So the timeline of this started essentially, truly, in end of January when the URA awarded the funding. Just today, I got an email that Craig Winslow, the artist, has put in an order for the projectors, so they are on their way. Early March, we plan on having plaque design approved and ordered. And in March, we plan on putting in the concrete pad as well as the pole, so that hopefully by early April, we can get the basic projectors installed. At that point, the artist will be able to map out the exact specifications as far as height and distance from the building, which will allow them to properly plan and then order and fabricate the custom plates with actual images. And in doing so, we should be ready to launch by late May and early June. It is my personal goal, however, to try and get this finished and launched in May during National Historic Preservation Month. No promises, but I'm going to do my best. And at this point, I'll take any questions you guys have.
Is it white light only, or is it going to be colored light as well?
So the projector itself is a white light, but essentially it is shining through a colored plate. So the projections will be colored. It's just that the light itself is technically white.
Another question is,
Mhm.
so there are 2 projectors, but there are 3 signs.
Yeah, so 6 projectors total, about 2 for each sign.
Oh, okay, so they can.
Yeah, so 2 will go out and then they can fade out and the next 2 can fade in, and that way you can cycle through the different layers.
All on one pole.
All in one pole.
Is the park closed at night? I'm just wondering because of this, people might want to go in there at night. I don't know what the rules are for Festival Park.
Technically, the signage does say it's closed from dusk till dawn for the park. I'm not entirely sure if the park has ever enforced that or really what to do there. But I can tell you the signage technically says the park is closed from
Really
dusk till
would be
dawn.
Like from your car driving by or.
Yeah.
Yeah, freeway, yeah.
You could drive through the park and there's no real way that there's no barricade or the park's not closed, so you could drive through on your in your vehicle and see, or even walk through it, but you probably couldn't access like the bathroom facilities during that time.
They're mostly locked up everywhere anyway, so.
Yeah. So yeah. Scott?
So are we looking at the west facing wall? Is that where these signs are? And so you were shining from the west looking east?
Yeah, if you're like in the park looking at the building, it's on that side.
Do we know the chronology of when which sign came first? Is like which was the oldest one? And
Yeah, we have already worked with Craig a little bit in creating the bids and stuff. And so he and his partner, Jessica Winslow, have come up with a number of historic details such as that. So we do know the order that they were put in. I believe it was the cigar sign and then the red storage sign and the black sign on top. So they have all that figured out and they will have it set so that it fades in chronological order as well. We don't have an exact year though for exactly when each sign was put in.
but I assume because you can kind of see faded images of all three, right, now. So at some point they were all covered up by, I assume, paint. So it's kind of faded off of all three. They're all kind of exposed now. Is that?
With these ones, I don't know if it was ever painted over. Eric might know
Yeah,
more.
I think they just did painted the one
okay.
and then painted the next one and then
Okay.
painted the next one and they overlap some, but not
Yeah.
completely. And
Okay.
then they never painted that entire wall.
Okay. Interesting.
Any other questions? Bob?
I could ask my cohort sitting right here next to me, are we in danger of upsetting the whole archaeology program by digging one hole in the ground?
Don't tell Eric.
I think we're pretty safe there because there's 12 feet of fill in that.
Well, I
area.
figured there,
So,
but the fill has been there.
yeah, the
Under-
fill's been there for
Time
prime
immemorial.
since the 1880s, right? So.
Yeah, I just didn't want to ask that question, but I didn't want the drill all posed when they finally did ask it. So I think that it would be well to get an archaeologist viewpoint before you touch the ground and get an okay from them, because that whole area has got to be sensitive of some sort. They didn't just walk in on a path and turn around and walk out. They might have dropped something.
Well, it will be installed though where there's already sidewalk, or well, there is sidewalk right next to it. So it'll really just be a pour similar to that of the sidewalk pad next to it. So I don't, this isn't something like if you were doing footings for a very large structure that really pillared down into the earth, maybe. But since this is really just a pole but holding some lighting equipment, it's not really it's not.
Not a huge hole.
Exactly. I mean, do we know the footing measurements on it, Anne? I don't think so.
No.
4 to 6 inches is what the director of the community development department just said.
You're when the drill bit when the drill bit came up all wound up in electrical wire, we said, "Whoop, must not been the right spot," So I just asking. I don't want to create a big problem. I think it's a wonderful. It's like I've been saying every time I've had a chance. We need to expose the community to the beauty of that building, not necessarily to the flowers that are growing on the around it or anything, but the building does have a lot of historic beauty, and we are really at a crossroads because most everyone else looks at it as kind of like a place to eat money. So we've got to try to talk them out of that agenda. I have no further questions. Do you? Anyone on my commission?
I don't
Eric?
think so. I'm thinking about the fill. It probably postdates, since it's away from the street. The street got filled in the 1880s, but that area didn't get filled in till after the Umatilla House burned and the Columbia Hotel burned, and then it got changed a bit when they built the grain elevators too. So I would think that area is probably more recent fill, and then
Well,
fairly
when
recently
did
disturbed.
when did the cherish fill that the Union Pacific put in cover that area? Because they didn't just the fill that is supposedly alongside the building itself. The Union Pacific is talking about preserving it.
Yeah, so that I think is mostly was along the street railroad corridor. And so this is a little bit off the corridor. If I'm looking at where the sign is, it would have been in, I don't know, the footprint of one of those old hotels that was still standing when the Union Pacific filled there. So they didn't fill into the basements of the buildings. So that fill probably postdates
Okay.
when those hotels burned down or were torn down. Or
I'll still stand with my legitimacy of asking that question. So,
yeah.
all right. Do you need approval from the landmarks?
Nope, this is mostly just an informative presentation. Wanted to keep you involved, especially since I know that this project is one of the goals of this commission, sorry. So especially since it doesn't actually impact the building itself, it is all light, and so it is a non-invasive preservation project. But thank you for listening today.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
Representative Reynolds, did you have a question?
Well, I just wanted to comment that there was an OPB field guide that featured Craig Winslow's work, and I haven't watched it, but it might be interesting.
I have also not watched it, and I should. That sounds very interesting. I do believe I actually heard him mention that. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
Any other questions, commissioners?
I am grateful that people have time to look at what is available on these grants and whatever else you want to call them, and see where they fit into our community and if we can utilize them or not. And it appears that this project will be fully funded by an agency that I have never heard of. So let alone hear of the fact that they're passing out money, you know? So it's good that we have people that do have time to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. That concludes the presentation for today's meeting. So if you wanted to move on to the next agenda item, or if you had any outstanding questions for me, feel free.
We have exhausted my agenda down to item 8, and that is the staff is going to tell us what we should be thinking about today, tomorrow, and next week. So I'm going to turn it back to you.
So we do have some staff comments today. So this is going to be my last historic landmarks meeting.
What happened?
So reason being is-
Caitlin, I'm not sure your microphone's working. I can't hear you.
Okay, I think
Thank
it's
you.
on now. Sorry, Forrest or Commissioner Ercole. So I just let the commission know that this is my last historic landmarks commission meeting. And I am pursuing a master's degree in planning. I haven't been formally accepted to any program yet, but I'm hoping to get into Portland State University. So I'm really excited for the opportunity. I notified staff a while ago, but I hate saying goodbyes. And so I waited until the last minute to tell you guys. My last day is going to be the 15th of March. I know. And so, but I'm really excited. And I do really thank you guys for teaching me so much about the Historic Landmarks Commission. I came in after the senior planner, Dawn Hurt. And, you know, she had some big shoes to fill. And I'm just glad that you guys welcomed me to this meeting. And going forward, you know, as everybody knows here, the work doesn't stop. And so the Community Development Department Director, Joshua Chandler, will be attending these meetings. Business will continue as normal, and we're going to keep getting good work done. So, and I'll be watching from afar. So, thank you. And I do want to let you know that I'm going to get that historic landmarks maps on the website before I go. So I'll make sure that gets done.
Yeah. Caitlin, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing that.
You've done a wonderful job.
We've watched you grow, and you're not ready to pick yet, so we're letting you grow, but I guess you're going to wander off on us, you know? You've done wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McNary.
Now, you got anything else about, there must be someone else in that group that has something, the staff is. Here comes Josh. We'll have a word now.
Hi, Joshua Chandler, Community Development Director. I'll be short and sweet. I just showed up to wish Caitlin best of luck on her new adventure. She's been awesome. She's been just like she's been my right hand for a couple years now, and I couldn't have asked for a better one. So this group, I know she's really had a great time working with this group. I think this is a really good group to work with. Really, yeah, can't say enough. So I just wanted to wish her good luck, and yeah, happy for her. Really excited. That's it.
That concludes staff comments.
Did not see that coming.
What is our future? You might forecast something for your followers for as far as the month of March. You got something there you want that we can look forward to?
In terms of an application, or, you know, we don't have any applications submitted. However, I have heard of some developments that may come in, but since I haven't received any development applications, you know, there's nothing really I could comment on during a public meeting. But I have heard people are always interested. People are always asking questions.
I'm been a little confused on our walking tour. The leader of the walking tour is involved in the city, or is it completely independent of the city and goes to the chamber? Where is this? I know we keep talking about our walking, but who is the person, if we wanted to talk to, that is in charge of our walking tours?
Well, you know, so the City of the Dalles managed the grant for the historic walking tour. I met with Sally Johnson, who is the director of the Dalles Art Center, and she is going to be the primary contact for the Dalles walking tour at this point. Good question, Chair McNary.
Yes, sometimes we don't really know where to go. We get lost just trying to get to the work. We don't even know where the work is. And that's what I was concerned about. I have had no forecast from my inside information about boat tours this summer, when they're gonna start in the spring and all that sort of stuff. And Julie, did you get back on the magic circle? Are they gonna take the Fort Dells in again?
Yes, there's going to be a hop on, hop off. We understand.
Good. I thought that was a terrible slight when that happened last year, but as Historic Landmark Commission, we have to be involved in this, because otherwise we don't get enough chance to advertise what we have here. And we have to give them a chance to at least get a word that there's something here to see other than just stopping the Dells, you know? And so.
Sorry, Bob.
Pardon me. Go ahead.
Mr. Eggy says I butt in all the time. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's onto something. I was just gonna ask Eric if they're stopping at yours at the courthouse. Oh, I apologize. I promised I was asking Commissioner Eric.
From what I know, the cruise line has not contacted the original courthouse yet to set them up onto the schedule, so. We're hoping. Fingers crossed still.
Well, we'll go one more. I'll poke one more and see if I can get a hold of a fish. Josh, you got anything that you would like to talk to the commission? We're really all present here. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? Set up straight in our chairs and look bright. Don't pick your nose when you're on television and all that sort of stuff.
I think a couple updates. Well, one that I can think of is a project that was approved by the HLC probably 18 months ago. This is the blue building. The blue building is went through land use approval. It's been about a year now, and they just received funding from the Urban Renewal Agency to assist in the redevelopment of that. So that's going to be that developer tapped into with the Urban Renewal Agency has an incentive program that provides different types of funding for different types of projects, and the agency will be funding about $270,000 to assist in all types of work. It's basically a $4 million project. So the agency is going to assist with, facade improvements, structural improvements, as well as paying the system development charges that are needed because they're going to be adding, I think it's up to 13 residential units. I think right now it's a two-phase project. So right now they're going to be adding 9. But yeah, that's exciting. They're hoping to move forward. They said at the meeting just this last week that I think he's hoping to move forward probably within the next 3 to 4 months to start getting moving forward on that. So the other project, and I actually spoke with Commissioner Gleason. We're going to be meeting next week on First Street to discuss that project, the First Street project that really has been looming around for a while. This is a project that started in 2006, 2008-ish. It's a project that has kind of started and stopped so many different times, and now it's on the right track. And hopefully we're going to be moving forward with reconstruction of the entire First Street from Union Street to Laughlin Street. It's actually a pretty complex project because of the historic nature of that area. I believe, and I think this group would be the one that can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe First Street is actually the location of where the railroad used to be, and then it moved to its current location, or it shifted over.
Yeah, so it started out as a portage railroad there. So from the steamboat landing, then it went down the middle of what then was Main Street, which is now First Street, and then on up to Celilo.
Okay.
And then it got incorporated into the Transcontinental Line in around 1882. And then it ran down the middle of the street till 1978. When it was double tracked and shifted to the north side of the street.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll be, thank you for the history. We're going to be, with that project, with this project, digging into the roadway. Ultimately, we're going to be addressing, some concerns with, we are building a brand new street that has multiple 150-plus-year-old buildings on it. So how does the engineering of that work? Installing a new retaining wall that is butted up against a historic structure. So there's a lot of, thinking and design and planning going into that. And I think my takeaway on it, what I've thought has been kind of a neat part of it has, as you all may know, the sidewalk that's in front of the Baldwin Saloon is actually entirely hollow underneath. So they found out in doing the engineering that, the typical process nowadays would be in a case like that when you're building new infrastructure would be to just fill that hole with some kind of structural fill. But in the geotechnical reports that they have, the studies that they have put together, you would not be able to add any fill into that cavity because it actually would put too much pressure on the foundation of the building, therefore, potentially jeopardizing the foundation. So that has been a more expensive little carve out to the project, more expensive than was initially thought when they started the project, but it will remain an elevated, basically that portion in front of the Baldwin will remain elevated. You won't be able to get into it except for the owners of the Baldwin. The property owners will be able to get into it, but we were actually just down there, I think 2 or 3 months ago. Just kind of taking some final measurements, but yeah, that area will remain kind of an elevated sidewalk, or you could think about it as almost cantilevered, but not entirely. There will be some posts drilled right next to the building itself that will have like a metal plate on it, and then the sidewalk goes on top of that. So
Since that was originally, I mean, it's fill, so originally the entrances were below. Is there any thought of pulling back so that people can look down or get down to the lower level on any of those buildings?
there is not. There is not. At this point, I mean, the project is at what we call 95% plans, and they've already been at this stage before. And then we came to a crossroads, no pun intended, with ODOT ultimately, and we decided to move forward. We terminated our contract with ODOT. This was last year, I think. And as a result, we had to completely re-engineer the plans again. So, yeah, at this point, there wouldn't be, an opportunity to see those, but it's a big undertaking, and it's, yeah, like I said, it's a the brand new reconstruction of an extremely old road in town, so it has quite a few complexities to it. Other than that, yeah, I think there's been some interest. There's a couple with the Urban Renewal Agency having, the boundary of the Urban Renewal Agency, both of the historic districts touch the boundary. So there is some interest with our incentive program project program that may impact or benefit historic structures going forward. But at this point, I think the blue building is probably the most recent. But for any historic business owner, any property owner, feel free to contact the Urban Renewal Agency staff, and we could take a look at any future projects and any funding that might be available to move that project forward. And I guess the other one off the top of my head would be the Tony's site, Tony's building site. So that one was, as we all know, demolished, hazard material abated from the site. The site, is currently it's fenced off for the time being until we come up with a development proposal. And hopefully in April, we'll be discussing an RFP, laying out the structure of an RFP to move forward with the redevelopment of that site. I think that's all I got.
I'm sure I'm not the only one full of questions, but anyone that has a question they'd like to ask, now is a good time to ask it. We got them captured.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
If we aren't going to get anything much more out of staff, we'll go to commissioner meetings, and I'm going to start off with postcard collection. And some of these postcards I think came from the Dells. I can't prove any of my stories, so don't ask me to prove it. But I had in my possession some of these postcards, I believe, or duplicates of them. When I gathered up the holdings of Thelma Cox, and that's been many years ago. And I toted this box around and I handed it to people that were interested. And the box got lighter each time I got it back. But I really thought if they had an interest enough to take that stuff, maybe it would come back and serve a purpose. Well, about a year ago now, a young fella came down from Seattle and he said, "Bob, I couldn't help but think about you." He said, "I was off at a historic meeting of some sort, and here was a peddler. He had all these pictures, but they weren't of where he was from. And they'd come circling through to him, and they'd been kind of cataloged. In other words, they fit this area. And the guy was trying just to give them away. So I kind of think that maybe my pictures or my postcards kind of were off on a venture of their own. And now they're back because they've been sorted out and they're set here So I want to gift those to the city now, and maybe they'll quit traveling. And we've been kind of cheating up here ahead of time, looking at them. And so I don't know how you want to handle it, because you got the problem now. I don't. I'm not passing the box around anymore. You got the box, and you do what you can with that box, and make it official. And I got to stand up here again. Oh, there's another stack coming this way, and I got to think down in the bottom of one of these pockets. That isn't it. Where they drop? There it is. There it is. Right there. I want to present this to Julie, and she can see how many thousand more she has up at the museum.
Historic the Dalles Days from 2003. Are you offering that? Do we need to fill out the accession form for the whole day?
Yeah.
It's 2 days' work for Julie right there.
Well, I will accept it on behalf of the museum and put it into our collection somehow. Thank you very much, Bob.
My wife is doing the right thing. She's starting to shrink our treasures somewhere in my possession, and I'll find it next time. I don't need it. It's too heavy. It's bigger than my belly. But I bought a belt buckle from the Rodeo Association, and they were all numbered, so they could keep track of them doing that. But I'll hand that to you also, and you can add that to your Fort Dells.
Okay, we've got an accession policy these days that I'll have to check through, but provisionally, yes.
Anyhow, that belongs somewhere other than in an old envelope.
This is wonderful. Thank you very much.
Now, I led off today. Bev, have you got a story to tell? See, it was the 20th of December. Boy, a lot of water passed under the bridge since the 20th of December, since the last time you was here.
Well, I usually talk about St. Peter's Landmark. Did I mention Mr. Eggy getting attacked there?
No.
Well, it was probably, the guy just got out of jail, and he had like a whole bunch of a long sort of rap sheet, but we can see from our front porch what's going on there. And there was like a ne'er-do-well kind of hanging around, and he put a bunch of his food and rubbish in a garden bed. So Alan was like, I'll go over and get him to move it, to pick it up. He had his little cart and all that stuff. And so I said, do you have a little sprayer thing? What do you call them?
Oh, mace? Or something.
Yes, we have. We don't know how to work them, but he apparently has one, and he couldn't find it. So I was looking around, and then and the wiener dog started barking. So apparently he just had gone over there without looking. So I'm standing at the front door, and the guy got angry, and he grabbed all the stuff and threw it in Alan's face. And then he turned around, and he was like swearing. I could hear it all going down. It was just like a nightmare. And he turned over to his little Safeway cart. It was really fun, and grabbed this great big thing, and Alan was going up the stairs, I think, to call the police, and he hit him on the back with it. And I was so traumatized. I went running over there to save him. And anyway, that several people called the police, and I finally got him in the 5 police cars. And it turned out what he hit him with, it was really God's protection, because he turned, and what he grabbed on top was like folded foam bedding that had been it was huge, but it was like he hit him with a big pillow basically that was covered in plastic, but it looked terrible from where could have been a pickaxe. We see all kinds of stuff in that. It could have been just what he grabbed at random. So it wasn't as terrible, and Alan's played it down because it was kind of embarrassing to him. But the police were wonderful, because our camera kind of worked on showing how they sort of contained around. They know exactly what they're doing. And the upside for this man, this offender, is he missed that whole terrible winter. He was in the jail the whole bloody time, and in comfort with meals and stuff. And then we watched it on the Zoom, the court deal, and there were several things. It was probably like 10 violation, boom, boom. And they kind of even threw ours out, but then they did say that he can't come within cooey of me or Mr. Eggy and the landmark, which you can't really enforce. It's what they haven't. So that was a bit of excitement. It could have been way worse. But the thing that just happened recently is the lighting around the landmark. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's dark now for the first time in like cooey, like for years and years, because some knucklehead went and stole the lights on the side closest to the riverside of the landmark. I mean, they didn't just steal them. They ripped out the, Dean Dollarhide came in and he was like, "Whoa." No, Tanner Elliott came and looked at it this morning, and it wasn't like an easy fix. They twisted and pulled and it's broken where it's going to be really hard to fix. And each one of the ones that I think they just took two, but took out the whole circuit. So it's been dark. But there were like 600 and some bucks each to put in, which is really a big hit to our budget. And it's just so frustrating. It's not the first time Ellen's had to replace lights and things. I don't know. So I have a frustration. It's not a happy story, but just the vandalism and stealing and things like that. It's just very disheartening. So that's, we're trying to get the lights back, and we've got to find the money to, well, there you go. Our beautiful little town. And, it makes no sense. They're stealing it what for drugs? It's, what, I don't know, for money. Who knows why people steal and vandalize. But Mr. Eggy's A-okay, and we can replace the lights, so. Okay, sorry. I was gonna have a downer report right there. Oh, dear.
I'm sorry to hear that, because antagonism like that, they are going to build. It won't go away. It'll keep building. And somebody will say, well, I don't want to talk about that. Okay, Eric.
I guess I don't really have much to report. I just kind of like to address Mr. Wolf's concerns about the commission. It is in the ordinance that we are representatives of the community. And I think what you see represented here is the folks that are interested enough to serve on the Landmarks Commission, and which is not necessarily maybe a representative sample of the community, but it's the sample of the community that's been willing to serve. So I think, we do have other things because we're all kind of interested in history. We have other things that we deal with. So, I'm on the Museum Commission. I serve on the original courthouse board. I'm a member of the Historical Society. So all of those kind of things, which are more representative of my interest in history than they are groups that I represent on the commission. So I'm members of those groups, but I don't necessarily represent those groups. And when there's some kind of conflict, I think all of us just kind of say what that conflict is. And if it's enough of a conflict, then we step away. So I think your concern, while it's valid, I'm just, the way the commission is set up is representatives of the public that are willing to serve. And also because we're a certified local government, we have to have a certain percentage of the commission that are historic preservation professionals. So it makes it a hard commission to kind of keep filled out. So I think while it might appear that we have conflicts or that we're kind of have multiple representations, I think we try and set those aside for when we are serving on the Landmarks Commission, with the exception of Julie, who is by ordinance a representative of the Museum Commission and not a voting member. So I don't know if that helps explain kind of why it appears that we have representations other than the Landmarks Commission, but I think we all are kind of cognizant of that, and our passions for history kind of make it so that we serve multiple positions all at the same time.
And aren't the commissioners appointed by the mayor?
Yeah, we're appointed by the mayor and approved by the council and stuff, so. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say.
I really think the more I've been sitting here, that maybe it would be helpful if sometime when you have a slack moment, that you print a copy of the ordinance so that each and every member on the commission could at least have that, look back and say, this is what they intended us to do, or this is how they intended us to function, however you want to say it. Because I might have one, but easier to come ask for new than go look for a one.
May I ask
I
a
don't
quick,
know, you have one, Eric?
Somewhere.
may I ask a
same.
clarifying question? Would you all like them printed and mailed, or would you like them emailed to you? 'Cause it's
Either-
all online.
Either way, even hand
Whatever's easiest for you.
even hand them out at our next meeting, even if we don't have another meeting till April or something. It's just something that we should say, this is here, and this is what you're supposed to be trying to do, and you got something to refer back to, so it's just a thought, just a thought.
I can get that to you, no problem.
It seems like interested applicants could talk to the mayor or the city office to see if they could be appointed next time there's an opening.
Correct. Yes. Public comment is closed at this time.
Okay, now, Eric,
No,
Or-
he wanted to,
I keep forgetting about you being on the wall. How your life been since the 20th of December, the last time you met?
Well, since I work from home, not a lot has changed, and then I got stormed in, so wasn't able to leave the house for a long time until just recently. And only since going out have I been walking around town, but mostly the Riverfront Trail. So I don't really have anything to report. I mean, it's beautiful down there right now, as long as it doesn't snow again. It's gorgeous.
Okay. God,
Public comment closed now. I guess that's a point of order. I don't know.
Scott, do you have anything that you think we ought to be?
Just that I love old photographs, and this is awesome that you found these or got these back. And hopefully you have some way of maybe scanning these, digitizing them. And I don't know what your intent was for the.
I gave the box away, you heard me, didn't you?
Anyway, these are fascinating. And by the way, this particular one has a 2-cent stamp on the back. It was mailed to someone, so
Ooh,
that's interesting. Did he slam it or?
be
Mhm.
unhappy.
He was upset?
I don't know, I just asked.
I don't think so.
Somebody just closed by. Anyway, these are fascinating. I like looking. at
Anyhow, there's a lot of discussion that go over a lot of coffee, looking at those
Yeah.
pictures, and it's well that they're back in our possession of the city of the Dells, or back in the right location and so on and so forth. Even one Bev picked out here looked like it was taken just 2 years ago, so I don't know. The horse trough had already been moved.
Oh, the rose garden up at Cirrhosis
okay,
Park.
Uh,
Current.
if you have anything else you want to add here, Scott?
That's it.
Julie, I want to commend you to start with. There is lots of other organizations within this city that would be entitled to having a representative on the Historic Landmark Commission in the same condition you are, and same footage and all that sort of stuff. And we need their input, but we are glad to have yours.
Thank you.
And please keep us informed if there's something that you think should go up. We're only a little way from the bottom, but we could go up with you and bring it to the people, the right people's attention, that there is something that's out of line here. So now quiet down, and you can go ahead and tell us how the museum's looking.
Okay, as a representative from from Fort Dallas Museum, one thing to let you know is that we're planning a festival of arts, crafts, and antiques on Saturday, the 27th of April, which is the weekend following the Cherry Festival. We're going to have coin evaluations, antiques appraisal, and music, and lots of other stuff, we hope. The second thing is the Wasco Cultural Trust, Wasco County Cultural Trust had awarded the museum some money to transcribe historic Old Fort Dalles Historical Society minutes. And that has been completed. They're on our website, scanned and transcribed. The transcriptions are in draft form, but at least they're available for people to look at. And I thank Paula Webb very much for helping with that effort. And last Saturday, I spoke about this at the original courthouse on the lecture series, and then on a bit more about Fort Dalles. But it was kind of precipitated by this grant from Wasco County Cultural Trust. And the last thing to tell you is that the museum will open on March 25th this year. It'll be open 7 days a week, 10 to 5. The end.
And Julie's presentation on the history of the Saving Fort Dalles is on YouTube, on the original courthouse's YouTube channel. So you all can catch it.
Our videographer neglected to put the camera on the screen showing the slides. So the first 3 were not there. It was just me yakking. And so Roger is going in and going to insert those slides so that you can see what they were.
Is that the name of the YouTube channel? Wasco County Original Courthouse, or?
Yeah, I think it's the original courthouse.
I don't know if you type in historical lectures or something, you should know.
Yeah, I should know, but I forget every time.
Richard?
Yeah, actually, you could probably just type in Julie Reynolds and Fort Dalles and it might.
Well, original courthouse historic,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Historic lectures or something like that. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'll
that'd be
tell
great.
Roger to get busy putting up those first 3 slides.
Yeah, and so at the original courthouse, each one of the February programs is recorded and then posted onto YouTube. So I think there's about 5 or 10 different programs on there right now. And I think it's our intent to put up all the ones that we have recordings of, so.
Some of the more recent ones are digital and easier to put up. And the older ones were, DVDs or something that have to be rewritten.
Yeah.
But they'll get there.
I would like to invite your husband to come sit with us sometime, even if we can't give him quite as much honor as we are giving you for the fort. He is working on an organization, in case anyone doesn't have a handle on it, of getting audio histories of everyone that he can find or will willingly work with him on this community. And so if you're interviewed or asked to sit down and talk to Roger, it's an honor, and it will be preserved for many, many years. I am glad to see someone taking an interest in that. And I hope that the city has got time and effort enough to catalog John Lindell's records of the city so that they can be utilized and not so much this is the way John said it, it's just the way it was. And so if you wanted to look back and say who was in the Texaco station down here in the 1800s, he could probably tell you it would be there somewhere. So I guess I dated myself right there when I said Texaco. I don't know how many years they've been gone. So anyhow, I have nothing more to say except ask your friends. Ask your friends if you can get these things out, so maybe you can use them at a cocktail party or something, these postcards. Ask your friends what they might have that would be useful to the historic character of this city. I know there's a lot of stuff out there. I have tears in my eyes at times in that box, which was huge when I got it from Thelma Cox. It was a huge box. It had a story in it about a guy by the name of Leonard Cox. And you've heard me refer back to Leonard Cox. Someone ought to wrote his life history of what he did for the city of the Dells. And I don't think you can find it anywhere in that name, but he was a Cracker Jack salesman, and he is the one that really, according to the way little bits and pieces, got the Dells Airport where it is today. He got it taken away from the military. So all these little stories could be put together into one hell of a long reading evening, I'll tell you, if you could put them all together. So now, do you have a tentative date for our next gathering?
Well, we do not have anything scheduled on the agenda, so it could be canceled, but it would be, let me grab it. Just a moment here. It'll be the 27th of March. Same time, same place.
I had noticed if we got so modernistic, we don't even have a calendar anymore.
The small one.
Little one right there.
Okay. We used to have a pretty good time. All right, next thing I'll do, and I ask, is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor has already been there, so we're adjourned. Let me get my mallet out here. There we go.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for your donation, Bob.
Yeah.
It may not be accession, but we